You're welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining today's class. And we apologize for however this may have looked like some itches here and there, here and there, here and there. So, but then we have started and we're starting and we'll continue to keep up with everything that we intend to do until we get it right. Okay, so before now, if you're on this call for the first time, which I doubt, except if I do not know. I know that every one of us we've been familiar with the free conference call and every other thing, but network has been very terrible. Free conference call has been and will always remain our best app. But of recent, we do not know why we have not been able, because the focus and the goal is for us to be able to make sure that you have a replay. The reason why we are doing all of this is for you to be able to get access to a replay, and because that replay is very important. Peradventure, you just want to go, you just want to have a time out, you want to listen to some things, and you're finding it difficult to remember some of the things that you've probably learned. And that's our focus. We don't want you to miss out on anything. We don't want you to miss out on anything. And that's the whole essence of we trying to make sure that you come to YouTube and any other platform that can help us to revisit it. But as it stands, it looks like I will just have to be doing it in dual ways. What do I mean? Because I want you to be able to go back. I'm currently trying to keep up with my recording, and I want to make sure that you are able to get the best out of your learning while you are still able to go back online to access whatsoever we must have learned in class. It is very, very important for us. So that being said, forgive us if you as you're getting really really frustrated by this whole thing. Is the same way. But then I'm surprised each time I try to record by myself. Like the one I did afterwards yesterday, it was 30 minutes long. Even this morning, another 30 minutes long. It's just so smooth. No issues, no issues, no issues. So I'll just ask that you should just please kindly come along with us. If you're able to listen to yesterday's class, the 30 minutes one I eventually dropped, please kindly say hi, because the essence isn't for us to just drop you another video. The essence is for you to be able to refer to the video and tell us that you did learn something. We don't want you to come and you are just finding it difficult to catch up with a lot of things, because everything is happening and you are not understanding what is happening. And that's why we're looking for a platform that will help us to be able to teach, yet at the same time be able to record. So, welcome to another class, and we're so delighted to have you here. So, this time we're talking about a particular theory, and that is the theory of someone called Erik Erikson. On day one, we talked about the cognitive development by Jim Piaget. Or was it Jim Piaget or Erik Erikson? Sorry, today is Erik Erikson. Then on the second day, we talked about Lev Vygotsky. Then today we're talking about Erik Erikson. This particular theory of Erik Erikson is very, very interesting. And what makes it special is that it is called the Erik Erikson Psychosocial Child Development Theory. Some people say psychosocial and psychoanalytic child development theory. And this particular theory is such that helps us to be able to see clearly how people function in the entire. Okay, so I am a newborn. From being a newborn, I am now going to become I'm going to become a toddler. From being a toddler, I'm going to become maybe a child. From there, I become an older child. Then I become a preteen, and I become a teenager, and I become an adult. And then I become, sorry, young adult, then I become an adult, and I become a real adult, and then life continues. See, the idea is for us to be able to see that indeed the children, as we continue to grow, children grow also, and as they grow, there are some things that happen in their life. Those things don't just happen. As those things happen, some things are going to be fixated, some things are going to be transient. So some things are not just going to be permanent. Some things, however situation may be, some things may look like they are normal, but eventually they have a lasting effect on the child. They have a lasting effect on the child, and that's what we're teaching it as, so that you as an adult, if you see some patterns in a child, please help the child to retrace that pattern, because the moment there is a fixation, the child may grow up to becoming someone. As little as trust is, it can be something that can cause a little that can disrupt a little kind some things in the life of the child. So we are saying that if you know about some of these things on time, you'll be able to work with children and their families, you'll be able to guide parents, you'll be able to talk to parents as the professional that you are. You're comparing the past to the present in relation to the future. You're telling the parent that is sitting in your front that, see, watch me as I analyze your child. If I identify this particular trait in your child and I'm telling you about it, believe me for it. Because failure for us to be able to deal with this particular trait, we are going to deal with a kind of adults that we may not be able to manage in future. And that's the essence of this. This particular theory is talking about psychosocial, and psychosocial in essence is saying that open your eyes and see clearly. This behavior that this particular child is exhibiting now, it will affect his social interaction, and as it affects his social interaction, it will lead him to either choosing to trust people or not to trust people. And as he chooses to trust or not to trust people, it will lead him into being able to tell whether it will lead him into being able to tell it, the internet inside. So it leads us into being able to tell that, can this child become an adult that will be able to relate with others? How is this child going to relate with others? What are the implications of this child's inability for them to not being able to relate with others? At some point, somebody, you see a lonely adult in their old age, you are asking question, how did you arrive here? You don't know. They don't know, but they just see that at some point they just find it difficult to relate with people. What happened? Trust versus mistrust. What happened? Initiative versus guilt. What happens? Industry versus inferiority complex. What happened? Autonomy versus shame and guilt. These are the things that must have happened. And if you look at this series, and this is just an introduction by the way, if you look at this series, you will see that same thing that you're thinking of about the child is also relatively happening to you yourself. Like same things that you're looking out for, that you're asking questions about from the child, you're seeing that those kind of things also can be obtainable by you. Like, okay, I'm looking at myself and I'm saying that I'm seeing a child and I'm asking questions that, why, how, at what point did this child arrive at this stage? But you're looking at that child and you're saying that, see, I just see some of the things I'm doing. I just see, oh, this is the reason why I can't relate with friends very well. Oh, this is the reason why I can't relate with others, right? This is the reason why I find it difficult to be able to function in these capabilities. Yes, you will find yourself as you find the child. You will find the future of the next child as you begin to see some traits now. You will see the things you're supposed to do, you should not do. You will see the things you should not do so that you can help the child to be able to cope and cope well. So what are the key things that the key takeaways in the Erik Erikson theory? Because really it's not just about we talking about big things, it's about you knowing what these things will do for you. The key thing is that conflict, that each level of a child growth has either conflict or success. When there is conflict, it deters the growth. When there is success, it maximizes the child's personalities. So success in this life is not saying that I came first position in class. No, success is in this climb is saying that the little things that my peers are able to do, I'm also able to do them. And when I'm not able to do them, when I'm finding it difficult to do them, I see and I'm not so comfortable with the fact that I'm not able to do them. And because I saw that I could not do them, guilt begin to trip in, and because guilt begin to set in, I begin to have shame, and when shame comes in, I begin to have inferiority complex, and when inferiority complex comes in, I begin to wear a mask of wanting to prove to people that I am who I am not, and once I'm not able to succeed in that, I begin to withdraw myself. Can you see the patterns of life? Early childhood education, Erik Erikson theory spans across all stages of life. Nothing is hidden, nothing is shaky. If there are some things that is hidden, it's because we probably did not touch them very, very well. So we divided these particular stages into 8 stages, and each of the stage has some things that they will help us to see. But before we go into those things, let's just know one thing and know it in mind, that this particular theory, each one of them, or each one of the stage rather, has a core conflict that shape personality and identity. There is something that goes wrong that now kind of informs who we eventually turn out to be. There is something that goes right that kind of now shapes who we decide to be. Now, one key thing about this stage is also about this particular theory is that successfully resolving conflicts at each stage leads to a healthy development, while unresolved conflicts can hurt future development. So that means at every point in time that we're going to be looking at every of this stage, we are saying that successfully being able to manage a stage can lead to what? A well-reformed adult. Whereas when we have unresolved conflicts, it can hurt the future. Then Erik Erikson stages have remained an influential tool for understanding how people develop over time. This particular theory is an essential tool. So as the practitioner that we say you are, it is Erik Erikson theory is one particular tool that you must have, like is your go-to tool, that you begin to use it as an analogy tool that will help you to see that you will help you to see through the lens of the things that the child is doing, that I know that you're in this stage, and I know that this is what you're feeling, and because I understand that this is what you're feeling, that's the reason why I will just forgive you and just let go, and I'll just guide you on the things that you could do differently. So Erik Erikson theory, or stages of child development, has each stage, and each of these stages spans through some things, from infancy through late adulthood, through and so on and so till the child continues to grow. And this theory helps to explain how social experiences and relationship influences who we become over time. If I'm able to receive some feedback now, I will ask you to share some experiences that must have shaped the kind of person you decide to be today. If I ask you to unmute one after the other, we will gather lots of experiences. Oh, the reason why I don't have friends is because, the reason why I'm an early riser is because my daddy wakes up early, my mom goes to work early. The reason why I'm like this is because, I lived with people and I didn't have enough time to do childhood. So when I become an adult, I decided to allow, the reason why you have a reason, a reason why you choose to be. And then when you don't even have a reason, you just ask yourself, how did you conform to knowing that this is the way I'm supposed to live? You'll be like, oh, well, I just saw it. Maybe you don't have the reason. You just saw that everybody wakes up in the morning and the next thing is that for them to brush their teeth, and you decide to copy, and that's all. Life goes on. And each time you do it, you see that it is good. And because it is good, you keep up with it. And that is life. So each stage of this development is like helping us to see what makes life meaningful, what makes life sociable, what makes us to be able to function in the capacity that we are functioning. And I will go with stage number 1. The stage number 1 is titled Trust versus Mistrust. Trust versus mistrust. And this stage is from infancy, from let's say birth to that's 18 months. The things that happen in this stage are just simple things. A child comes to the world and sees that, somebody grabs me and somebody decides to breastfeed me. and this person that breastfeed me is so kind. Or maybe I was not being breastfed. I just knew that every time I go hungry, somebody would always give me food. And this person that gives me food is my primary caregiver. Oh, I just know that anytime I'm wet, this person would always come around. And every time this person come around, I just know that I am cleaned up and I am well catered for. And at some point, the child begins to look out for the person. And this is where trust begins to build in. I trust that when I whine, somebody will come pick me up and the person will cater for me. I trust that when I cry for food, somebody will give me food. I trust that when I'm in discomfort, somebody will pick me up and rock me to sleep. I trust. The child begins to look around their environment and begin to trust. They begin to trust the immediate caregiver, whoever. I've said it before in this class that whoever the primary caregiver is, be it a mad person, the child will trust the person. Be it a thief, the child will trust the person. Be it anybody, another is the child will just see, because the child is from their innocence and they are looking at you like, this is a person that helps me to live life. This person that provides for me. This is a person that cares for me. That's what the child is looking at. See, this particular stage is crucial because it helps to shape the child's view of the world and their personality. The child in this time is seeing, oh, this is what it means to hug somebody. This is what it means to give somebody care. This is what it means to love upward someone. This is what it means. This is what it means. They are questioning because they do not have an idea of what the world is about. They have not lived once before. They are just seeing life and they are just learning from all the action that they are receiving for the first time. They're just looking at you and they're like, now I know this is what it means. Now I know this is what it means. When somebody smiles at me, I'm supposed to smile back at the person. And when I'm in discomfort, I'm supposed to cry. And because I cry, somebody is going to pick me up. And when they pick me up, they are going to care for me. Babies build trust when caregivers respond quickly and consistently to their need. Babies would always build trust. They would always build trust when you pick them up, when you comfort them, when you care for them. They will always love you. Now, there are some children that experience some level of inconsistency in their childhood. This particular set of children, when they see that, unreliable, when they see unreliable, they don't know, this person will pick me up, that one will pick me up, that one will pick me up. I don't even have one person that I can connect with, because at every point in time I wake up and I see different kind of people. Those children are also picking up something. They are developing. This auntie that I'm beginning to like now, once this auntie that I'm beginning to like, in the nearest a couple of minutes, I may not see her again. I begin to question, where has this auntie gone to? What has happened to this auntie? Why does this auntie stop seeing me? Those are the questions that will now lead them to becoming, they begin to have a feeling of mistrust. They begin to have a feeling of mistrust. Now, this mistrust can now lead to future social and emotional problem. You'll be asking, just from that little baby that we could not rock well, or from that little child that we could not really, we did not cater for properly, because of course we are handicapped to provide the right care. How does this have to now travel way into the future? Let me show you. It doesn't just travel immediately into the future. It goes little by little, one step at a time, one step at a time. Because trust versus mistrust is the pivotal stage, or the pivotal first stage in the Erik Erikson theory. This theory of psychosocial child development is occurring from this period to 2 years. And this phase, the child's experiences with everyone around them is just giving them a clue about the world. They are saying that if you're responsive and consistent with the care that you're giving to me, I'm going to have a sense of security. Whereas when you're inconsistent with your caregiving, you can help me to begin to build in myself and some measure of mistrust. In fact, and this mistrust can now impact my future social relationship, because that mistrust that I'm feeling now does not end in this time. It's going to transcend into my next stage, and my next stage it will transcend into my next stage, and it will transcend into my next stage, and you will see how this will now begin to build upon how this person personality about their social personality will now begin to form. See, Erikson believed that early patterns of trust influence early patterns of trust influences a child's social and emotional development. If a child successfully develops trust, they will naturally feel safe and secure in the world. Because according to this theory, you as a teacher, you as a parent, of course, we are the locus parentis, that's what we are in the school. So local parentis is like we are the parents in the school, so everything that has to do with nurturing and growing children, we take on the responsibility the moment those children are dropped on our doorstep. So the child here is saying that, see, help me to feel safe, help me to feel loved in this world, because trust versus mistrust exists on a spectrum. And people aren't completely trusting or completely mistrusting. As slim as that role is, we would continue to find a child. So as slim as that role is, we would continue to see what we are supposed to do to support the children in every point in time. Now, am I supposed to keep up with the child? Because you're going to ask me, I'm a new mom and my career was kept on hold, and I'm supposed to keep up with seeing the face of this child all the days of my life, because I don't want them to not trust me. Because caregivers, different people, a house girl at home is carrying the child. In the church, a lot of people are carrying the child. In the school, the child goes to the daycare and is handed over to the nanny, and the nanny does a little bit, and then the teacher comes in, and another stranger, the child is going to see lots of people. What we're saying is that trust versus mistrust, they are like on the same spectrum. They are not far from each other. But we're not saying that it is one act of disruption that will lead to the entirety of the lifetime of the child, so much that the child will not be able to trust. No, as a new mom, you need to get your life back. So there is no way you're not going to drop the child. And dropping the child will mean to the child that you're inconsistent with your love. Dropping the child to the child would mean to the child that, oh, this person is just thinking about themselves. They are not thinking about me, and that's why the child in the EC says he will cry. The child will cry, he will cry, he will cry. When the child is done crying, the child will help you to see that you have really, really you have shown me this part of you, and this part of you is not a part that I can deal with. But the thing is, they will cope. The next time they see you again, they will run along, they will come and hug you. Yes or no? They will hug you. So trust versus mistrust is something that you cannot say, oh, because they say that we should not build into child mistrust, so I'm going to sit at home and not going to. You better go and work, because if that child does not eat, the child will still not trust you, because the child will be looking at you like, so I'm not sure you can provide for me. So the child is looking at you. So the key is that infant trustworthiness in relationship and interaction outweighs. So for the most time, they are looking at for, how can you help me to trust the entire world? It's not just about me trusting one person. I'm saying that, how can you help me to trust that this world that I'm living in is a safe place? Because however you help me to live this current world is going to now determine how I will see the entirety of the universe. If I live today being able to trust you, I will be able to live tomorrow trusting the next person. Now, am I supposed to trust every single stranger that comes my way? Not necessarily. So I'm going to learn how to build relationship, because you are allowing me. Now, this particular stage will lead us to the next one, which is number 2. Remember that this is number 1. This is what trust versus mistrust, and the age for this one is infancy or birth till age till 18 months. Then the next stage is now going to lead us into, okay, if I do it well, if the child trusts me well in this stage, this is who they will be. If the child trusts me well in this stage, they will be able to trust me completely. If the child trusts me well, if I do not abruptly break the trust that this child is giving to me, the child will have a sense of autonomy. If I break abruptly the sense of trustworthiness that the child would have for me, or I will have for the child, either ways, there is something that will set in it. It's called shame versus shame and doubt. That is what will come in. So number two stage says what? Autonomy versus shame and doubt. That is number two. Autonomy versus shame and doubt. Please help me to mute your mic. We need to run along. Please help me to mute your mic. So, autonomy versus shame and guilt. Shame and guilt. I'm sorry. Autonomy versus shame and doubt is the next stage. Now, stage number two. That is it. From toddlers like that. That's from like 2 years to like 3 years. That's like 18 months to like 3 years. That's the next one. Now, what happens in this stage? The stage of autonomy. If you have a 2-year-old, please picture what the child is doing. Between the ages of 18 months and 3 years, children begin to express a greater need for independence and control over themselves. It's my own. Give me. It's my shoe. It's for me. I can pick this dress. I don't want this shoe. I want that one. You're asking, this child that is always crying after me that I should carry them everywhere. And this child is not giving me voice and they don't want me to help them. It's like, and the child is just like, that's like autonomy. That child is having trust. He's saying that my trust that I built, I have trusted you enough. Allow me to exhibit that measure of understanding that I know about myself. Allow me to express it. Allow me to show you that I have an idea of what I want for the things I want. And then and of course, they begin to exhibit this and they want to show independence about the things that they've known around the world. And in this stage, encouraging children to try tasks on their own, in fact, even when they make mistakes, will build more in them a sense of autonomy. Autonomy is building upon trust. To build, if you have the opportunity, just draw a tabular form. And when I say something and something, place one on the positive side, the way it is said, and the other one on the negative side. You know that we said trust versus mistrust. Trust versus mistrust at the top. Then we say autonomy versus shame and doubt. Now, at this stage, the children are going to have a lot of accidents. What are accidents? Accidents like they pee on their body. They pee on their body a lot. How are you handling it? What are you saying to the child? Do you say we for body? How are you shamed? That's not the goal. Do you shame the child, the entirety of that child, so much the child doesn't want to come to school to the next day? Autonomy versus shame and doubt is saying that. So the child is looking at themselves. Oh, I could do it, because a certain parent that is building trust is telling the child, "You were celebrated. I see you. You were a champion." Then the other parent is saying, in fact, I bet in my other recording, I know you will see a part. Maybe I will just scolding my children like, "Can you people just allow me?" Now, scolding, don't mistake discipline for shaming a child. So don't say that, oh, everything in early church, they just say we should just be very careful so that the child will not grow up with a sense of blah, 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 blah. No, that's not the idea. The idea is for you to know clearly how to support the child. How do you support the child in the ECE? That's the answer that we want you to answer. We want you to know that, yes, you could support even in good discipline, but we won't want you to shame the child. Don't make the child feel less of themselves. And like, even you as an adult, you don't want someone making you to feel less of yourself. Now, connect that mistrust at the top to shame and doubt. A child that does not trust you, how do they feel confident around you? Because the next minute, they may not be prepared for the next thing that will be coming out of your mouth to them. So shame and doubt begin to question themselves. Can I do it? Can I not do it? Oh, can I do it? In fact, see, most parents who are consistently that constantly reject their children, or most teachers that continually to hit on the child's inability. In fact, over every task, over every little mistake that the child is making, you discourage independence. And eventually, you are the one fostering shame. You are the one fostering self-doubt. I think I told you people that one of my children at some point says that the school he was going to, that they were telling me that, oh, he likes food so much that so he's for food only. They call him FFO. And it was so it comes, this thing that I'm saying happened in this, about the same age that I'm talking about, age 2 or so, because at least the child is 9 now, and our school is 5 years. And this child comes home and says that, oh, they said I just like food alone. And the child says he doesn't want to go to school. That means the child was about 3 years plus. And each time the child says that, the child looks like, oh, he's just so discouraged. Somebody is shaming the child. We're not saying, now this particular child does not necessarily like food. I still have to encourage him and say, you only like to eat, you don't like food. You are not a glutton. And truly he is not. He's not somebody that would even eat so much. But by the time they've already shamed that child so much, maybe he could not write what they want them to write. And then when it's time to eat, he's now very active. And they are saying, it's only food, you that you know. It's only food that you know. And the child was discouraged. And I'm like, why? So shame and guilt is coming in. If that child is not well nurtured, but you will see the next thing that will happen in stage number 3. Let's dive in, because I want to make sure that I cover all the entirety of the 8 stages, because we cannot split this class. We cannot split it at all. So when you want to raise children that are confident, please use the right words on them. When you want to raise confident learner in your class, use the right word. Do not body shame a learner that's accidentally being on themselves. So when you are done singing that way for Bodiawa and you shame, please take that child, bring them closer to you, hug them, and make sure they are comfortable in your setting. Is that fine? Teach them. I'm not saying you should not potty train them. Potty train them with love. That's the goal. Autonomy versus shame. I don't want to go into that. You can even imagine it. Don't the children learn to assert their autonomy and build self-confidence. How do they assert their autonomy and build self-confidence? I can do it. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me the shoe to wear. Now you begin to discuss. Now I'm talking to you like you're a parent now, but you are going to say the same thing to the parents in your school, and you're going to educate them about the things that their children begin to exhibit at some stages, and they will not think that those children are silly. They will not think that those children are not confident, or they are just being stubborn. I think that's the word. The word stubborn is what I want to prevent. That they will not think that, oh, the child is going to be is just trying to be proving hard to get. No, that's not what you're trying to do. You want to make sure that you softly help the child transition from the stage that they are into the stage that they are supposed to be. Do you understand? You quietly help them to see that, oh, you could move from this stage to another without being too fussy on the child. You're helping the child to move carefully into that stage. Yes, you have to be firm, because really a 2-year-old should not determine the things that they want every time, because what if they walk into danger? So we are not going to say a yes, but you're going to affirm your no with love, because you don't want to drive that child into a sense of, oh, I cannot make a choice. Please, especially we Africans, it's very, very important. We must be very, very mindful. Let's not drive these children into a stage of so much difficulty that they cannot cope. Let me tell you some of the things. Okay. So let me tell you some of the outcomes. Let me just speak on them. The outcome of the characteristics of the children in this setting will be that I, as a child, I am very, very strong-willed. The outcome will be that my parents are able to talk to me, and they are able to help me, pick my choices, and this therefore informed how I begin to now see things. Another thing would be that my parents were very permissive. No, the other one is forceful, and they talk to me, forceful, and they shame me. and they are now begin to look at life like life is very hard. You see children, I'm not sure you've seen some children, some comics that we see that a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old will say that I don't like you anymore. I want to move out of this. I was like, this child wants to go and live a free rent somewhere else, and you're laughing. It's because in that time they thought in their head that they could fix things. They thought that they are already they are exercising their authority, thinking that their authority can stand. They are trying to practice how to live as confident learners, how to live as confidence, how to live as confident being, without knowing that there are stages to life. Do you understand? I think that's just it. So the outcome is just whatever you sow in this stage is what you will reap in the next stage. So let's go to the next stage. What is the next stage? The next stage is initiative versus guilt. So a child that has trust will come to the level of autonomy, and they will come to the level of initiative. This child could think for themselves and they could take initiative. Bring that item. This child could think for themselves and they could think that they could take initiative. They would think in their mind that they could they won't think they can take initiative. They will begin to take initiative. Trying to solve problem, trying to be smart, trying to do things, you understand? They will begin to, but then the other child that was shushed. So when we tell you, do not shout on the child so badly that the child doesn't want to come near you anymore, that child is going into a stage of guilt. So there isn't anything said that I do that is fine. Everybody just seems to have something to say that I don't. They just keep saying that I don't ever get things right. I don't ever get things right. People they just begin to say that I don't ever, that I'm not smart. I am not I am not I am not good enough. I am not good enough. I am not the child begin to just maybe guilt trip themselves. They begin to guilt trip themselves, and we need to be mindful. I feel the essence of this learning is for us to see that this guilt stage, initiative versus guilt stage, will happen between the ages of 3 to 5. And during this stage, children begin to explore their abilities. What can I do by myself? How can I think? And begin to assert their independence. They begin to assert their independence. And when they begin to assert their independence, they begin to show, they begin to want to explore their abilities. And when they are doing this, difficulty will come in. Parents say, don't do that, do this, don't do that. Now, it is a time where I need to mold the child, so there is no way I'm not going to stop the child. I will keep stopping the child until they are able to understand that, hey, I am your mom, I am your teacher, I am the one that is meant to be in charge here. But at times, it's okay for you to allow them pick. That is why you must have options. So in Montessori, you go like, okay, could you go to the shop and tell me what you would like to learn with today? You're giving them a sense of autonomy. You're giving them, like, you're telling them that it's okay, I identify with you. I understand that you also have choices, and I'm respecting your choice, because whatever you bring, I would tell you, maybe you picked that item yesterday. I'm going to tell you, you know what, we're going to learn what Jason had picked, but then we're going to add another thing that would allow Jason to learn better today. Because we want to acknowledge Jason's ability to take initiative, so that Jason being able to take initiative will now lead us into we showing that Jason's voice also matters. Jason's voice matters. We're saying that we're saying that even though Jason could make that choice and we could stand firmly either with Jason or against him, we're going to do it out of love. That's just it. A supportive environment that encourages trying new things without fear of punishment or shame is vital to preventing guilt, and is vital to promoting initiative. You want a child to be able to take initiative, make sure that the environment is enabling enough. Make sure that the environment is enabling enough. Just make sure that the environment is enabling enough. So what are the characteristics of initiative of versus good? The child begins to ask questions. Am I good or bad? Because they are trying to know. Oh, What am I doing right that makes my parents, and that's where they want you to give them a high five, they want you to give them the sticker, they want you to give them so many things. You understand? A child that is taking initiative will begin to initiate activity. In fact, often you see their imagination, you see the child will bring out toys, they will set up all the classroom, all the people in their classroom, they begin to say, oh, you sit down there, you are Shayo, I am Miss Bukola. Now they will begin to take initiative through play. It's not like they are taking initiative about life. Both of you. It's not like they are taking initiative about life. They are taking initiative through play. They are practicing what they have learned from you, and they are able to exhibit some of the things that you've shown them, and they will just see it, and they will just, just want to practice it and see it like that. So, but then sorry, children begin to initiate activity. They often use their imagination. In fact, they like to take they learn to take action and feel a sense of purpose and control. You see, I am in charge of all of these teddy bears. They are my children. You see that little girl? I just want you to imagine, because really, every time I teach this class, I just try to um, compare all of these things to how my own children are too. Like, so you see my child that is around this age is like in charge. All his trucks are his trucks. He's in charge. He drives them and parks them in a certain place. I'm not saying like big trucks, like all these toy trucks that are very, very small. He could arrange them in a certain way that he feels that he has parked them in his car park in his mind. And he'll be like, oh, this one is under, this one is this one, and he will just be taking initiative. And God now help you. You now want to sweep, you now want to tidy up the house. You now pack up those toys, you now put them in a basket. Why? Why did you do that? Why did you go to that place that me, I have control over? That place that I have autonomy over. You now decide that you don't have anything to do. It is now that place, don't go. You now have to go and scatter. That child will not take it lightly. So it's not like we are going to be permissive, we're going to just allow children to do everything they want. We're just going to understand with them that, you know what, I understand the growth that you're experiencing now, and that's why you are in charge of the choices that you're making. Because those choices are not actually difficult choices, they are just choices that we are thinking that they are difficult because we are grown up. So these children here, when they take initiative, they are able to have a good sense of purpose and control. Whereas the children that have been, they've come from a place of mistrust, they've come to a place of shame and doubt, and they are now in a place of guilt. If children do not have the freedom, these children, what do they have? If they do not have the freedom to try things on their own efforts, they are met with criticism. Without being met with criticism and punishment, they develop a sense of guilt. They may view their mistakes as personal failure and become less inclined to take initiative to try new things. So you see a child saying that, oh, am I bad? Let me just give an example. Say, for instance, a child mistakenly breaks a cup. And the child goes go apologizing, just go apologizing. We need to be worried. Now, we're not saying that the child should be careless. We're saying that it's okay, just move on. And the child is saying, no, I'm just concerned. Because the child is trying to tick your box of a good child. Please do not raise good child. When I say good child, good, like when you're trying to raise a good child, you're trying to say that you're raising a child that is perfect, that is devoid of imperfection. Now, this is not to say that you're not raising a well-raised child. Well-raised children, morally upright children, could make mistakes also. But we're saying that we are trying to say that this child is a good child. That means the child is a robot. That means the child, you are pressing the button. If I say sit, the child is sitting. The child doesn't have a voice of it. You try it. You're saying that your child that is a good child. Use the characteristics of good to adjust that child and tell yourself if the child is really good in your own standard of being good. If you tell the child to sit still, do they sit still? Do they sit still? No. Good children are not supposed to sit still. They are supposed to have opportunity for them to explore, because it is in the place of exploring that they will begin to find themselves, and they will begin to see that they could make mistakes. And it is this is not errors of a child says fire and you allow the child go and touch fire, or all of those things. There are some little times that because the child, you cannot raise a robot. Children's body cannot sit still, so you cannot tell me that anywhere you put the child, that is where the child. Now there are some children, by virtue of their personality, maybe they are introverts, they are not just very active, so you won't find them anywhere. We're not going to say that they are bad children either. I'm just saying that just pay attention. Don't think that children have to be, they tick the box of your being good and so they have to keep calm at all time, because when you make them keep up at all time, you have already guilt tripped them. They are just in a box. They don't want to make mistakes around you, and that's not the way to go. And this goes with life. This goes with marriage. This goes with parenting. This goes with leadership in business. You tick the box of this staff is the best staff. This staff doesn't make mistake. Azal. Now, I'm not saying they should not be good staff or they should not be best staff, so to say. We're saying that really they have a right to fall your hand at once in a while. It is your ability to forgive them that makes them really the good staff. It is not that they will never ever fall short of you. If they never ever fall short of you, that means they are doing eye service. Quote me anywhere. Let's move on. So, initiative versus guilt. Initiative versus guilt is telling us that allow people to take initiative. Erik Erikson's initiative is a sense of enterprise where children learn that they can exert their own power over themselves and the world. They are desirous of taking on new tasks. They are desirous of joining tasks with other people. They are desirous of using their skills in play. They are desirous of doing all. Initiative gives a child a sense of purpose to try out new things without guilt, without fear, without embarrassment. Whereas guilt is shame over failing to complete a task successfully. In fact, guilt will provoke irritation in adults, and this feeling is embarrassing for the child. Like, how do you have to get so mad because I could not write number two? As how now? But it is my work now. Why does he have to pay you that much? They don't understand that it is your own job to teach them. They are thinking that why do you have to get so cross at them because they could not pee in the WC, and they had to, because they made a mistake to pee on the toilet seat, and you're now so mad. Now, are you supposed to be upset? Kind of, yes. Do you have to go all gaga at all time? No. That's just it. Have you taken your time to teach them the right thing to do and groom them to doing it? Because when you're teaching me to knowing how to do something, there is opportunity for me to make mistakes. And if there are opportunity for me to make mistakes, that means that you are giving me opportunity for me to grow. That's the idea. And that will be all. Because if I keep going into this, we will not move out from here. So let's go on to the next one. It is industry versus inferiority. Industry, that is stage number 4. If you're following me, please kindly help me to say hi, because as it stands, I'm just trusting all of you to know that you are still in class, please. So industry versus inferiority. Industry versus inferiority. This is from let's say school years to age 11. That's about 5 to 11. 5 to 11. In this stage, the industry versus inferiority stage of this Erik Erikson Psychosocial development theory is crucial for children around the ages of 5, 6, let's say 6 to 11, because as they strive, this is where they are striving to master skills, they're striving to build their confidence, and this period greatly shapes their sense of self-worth. As they gain competence through school and other activities, you as an adult in their life, you as a teacher in their life, you as a parent in their life, you play a vital role in helping them succeed. You play a vital role in helping them succeed. It is you that they are looking out for. The thumbs up that they are going to get from you, that is that thumbs up that will keep them moving. It is that thumbs up that they are getting from you that is keeping them like, oh yeah, I trust myself that I am trying my best. You play a vital role. You play a vital role because it is this a vital role that will prevent them. In fact, preventing a feel of inferiority. Every time you give a child a sense of self-worth, you're telling them that, see, you're good enough. You're good enough. And this is where I tell parents, when a child starts saying that you cannot do fire, and they begin to compete with one another, quench the fire of now. I like competition because I don't like unhealthy competition. I like competition that pushes me to becoming a better version of myself. I do not like competition that will strain me and begin to push me to becoming who I'm not ready to be. Remember the zone of proximal development that we talked about the last day, that was on Tuesday, where we said that the zone of proximal development is a stage where you're comparing what the child has the ability to do by themselves in addition to what they have the ability to do better with the support from another person. And really, pushing a child little is going to lead us to that sweet spot. That sweet spot of you can charge yourself to be a better version, but you are not going to overstrain the child. That is where I talked about scaffolding. Please, if you have not listened to that class, just click on my video, any of the video that you see that is Child Developmental Theory 2. And it has just about 30 something minutes recording. That's the best one. I'm going to go delete the other ones that are not so complete. That way you will be able to see the one that we're talking about. Learn about Lev Vygotsky's theory of child development theory when he was talking about the zone of proximal development. You want to make sure that that child is in that place, a place of comfort. Do not push children into striving so hard, so much that when they could not meet up with your standard, they hurt themselves. Remember the case of a child that did not score well in JAMB, or maybe the WAEC was mistake, was the WAEC result was switched or something. I can't really remember. There was a certain child that committed suicide because the score was somehow. And I'm asking, why should a child go kill themselves because their score was bad? We should question the parents. It's not a matter of whether I put in so much of study to learning and eventually my result come out bad. Yes, it could hurt me, but if someone had told me that if I fail, I am still welcome at home, I would never have thought of doing that kind of thing to myself. But I think somebody is telling the child that if you fail, don't bother coming here. And if you go back to your childhood, you would remember that the way some of our parents had raised us then, if you dare to lose your parents' money, if they tell you don't come back home, it's better for you to just run away at times, because coming back home could mean hell. And that's not the standard. So when you are saying that our parents raised us in a way and we did not die, please look out for the ways that they raised you. What kind of ways did they raise you? Excuse me. The way they raised you, was it the best way you're supposed to raise a child? Do you think that best way will be a way that the child will feel safe around you? Do you think that best way will be a way that the child will feel safe and sane around you? Let's think about it. Let's move on. So the next one is so we're talking about what here? We're talking about this particular stage where we're talking about industry versus industry. That means I have the capability for me to be able to work. I begin to, from my sense of taking initiative, I'm able to take initiative. When I'm able to take initiative, what will happen? I can build things. I can become creative. I can see the industry versus inferiority stage is like it focuses more on building skills and confidence. From trial and error, the child is becoming better at what they are doing. The child gets support from whom they are better at the sports that they are doing. They get support from whom, even though they are not coming first in the class, they still feel loved. See, you as a teacher, you have the role, you have the job. It is an obligation. You are supposed to teach parents this. They do not know. They do not know these things. You please help me to teach them. The industry and inferiority stage focuses on building skills. I've said that before. You see, this is a crucial part of childhood. And children start realizing that they can accomplish things. Oh, I can do it. I remember when my son, he says, okay, so we gave him a step below his class because he was not catching up with some things at some points. And he was like, oh, he can't imagine that he needed to sit with some certain kind of children. And like when I say kind of, like their ages. And he says, so each time he's trying to be unserious, I will always threaten him with the fact that if you do not catch up well, you're going to still either remain in that class and this other set of children will go ahead of him. He said, never, never will those children go ahead of him. And all this time, he kept on being, so during the exam, he was worried. He was like, oh, Mom, what if I do not come out nicely? I said, if you do not come out nicely, you are still my child. And if you need to take a step backward, that means I will have to teach you how. But I know and I trust you that you do not need to take a step backward, because I know that you've taken your time, you studied so hard, and you're going to put in your best. By the time it was the school party there and he got some award, he was just screaming, I can't believe I did it. I said, you did it because God allowed you and you put in your study. See, let children know that it's okay to fail. We cannot do life by ourselves. I'm going to show you the transitioning of these things. Since speaking, I've had some times when I teach these things in church. This particular theory, I teach it in church, and in children's church. If you're a Christian or a Muslim, we take it with parents. It's not something that is not a religious-based thing. We take it in organizations. We go there to help parents in these health centers. We go there to talk to parents about it. There was a time we got a job from government there that we had to go out, because at times it's okay for them to know that it's okay. So you could have a session with parents that their children are in terminal classes in your school, and you're welcoming them. You're telling them that it's okay for your child to fail. We're not wishing them failure. We're saying that let them build the right skills that they'll be able to use in their life. And if they fail, they should come back home. It's okay. That's what we're saying. Inferiority versus industry versus inferiority. The child that has been bullied, that has been shamed, that has been guilt-tripped will come out to begin to have inferiority complex. Oh, you are not even good for anything. You just like food alone. Whereas a child that has been celebrated, that has trusted, that has been allowed to take initiative, what will the child do? The child build competence. The child has a can-do spirit. The child is standing, and every morning the parent is wishing the child have a nice day, and they are telling the child, I see you. I know that you're going to succeed as you go to school, and I know that you're going to make it, and I'm rooting for you, and I'm waiting for you to come and tell me the news. That child has a can-do spirit. That child has a can-do spirit. That child has a can-do spirit. The child that is able to carefully navigate this season is much more, this child is privileged, because if you come to a stage of inferiority complex, we have a lot of adults wearing the marks. So this is where narcissism begins to come in. Oh my goodness. See, they'll begin to wear the marks of capabilities, whereas they are fully incapable. But do you think if somebody had acknowledged their incapabilities, do you think they would want to marks of are we saying I can't join? Okay, sorry. Okay, so we are still here though. So I'm just seeing the chat. Do you think they will have to keep up with wearing the marks of I want to prove to you that I'm better off? No, if somebody had told them that, you know what, I see you and I celebrate your strength, and they do not have in themselves, because what they are always trying to prove is that they want to prove to the next person that they are better off. Whereas what they see in that other person is what they are converting. They see the industry, the ability for that child to be able to survive. They see it in that child and they are converting that thing. And instead of them to learn from that, they begin to beat that thing down in that person, and they begin to bully the person, and that person begins to. It comes from a place of inferiority. Let's move on. Let's move on. So Erik Erikson is telling us that, see, open your eyes. Do not think that excelling in school or failing at a class is the end of life. The child that is excelling now, do you know what they are going to turn out to be? So be mindful. That's what Erik Erikson is saying. He said when children get support and tools they need to walk through this stage, they develop a feeling of usefulness and a strong sense of self-worth. You understand? A strong sense of self-worth. But then, if a child doesn't get the support they need in this stage, in fact, without the ability for them to manage and master the skills and probably gain positive feedback from people, do you know what they will have? They will come out of this stage having a sense of worthlessness, which leads towards inferiority. They just have a sense of, I am not just good enough. I am not just good enough. Now, this child now is now a preteen. A child that is 11 is a preteen, right? Now, the child now comes from that stage and comes to a stage of teenagers, which is a 12 to 18 years. This is where identity versus confusion sets in. You know now, our teenagers, what they want to do, they want to have a sense of identity. They want to connect to the things that is going. Okay, they want to connect with the trends and the likes and the likes. My child attended my church boot camp, and when she came back, I did a video of her, and she was saying that they taught them how trend is like a wave, and they will go with the way the waves will just go and disappear, then will come again. That's the way trends are. So if they hold on to trends, but then children are children. They want to hold on to trend, but if they have a good understanding that holding on to trend, you allow there's this one this slang that they used to say, no they something no they wear belts, something no they use them, they know they greet, something no they do. It is because of they're looking for a sense of identity. Guess what? The children in the EC setting that has been nurtured well with a right foundation will still want to copy this trend, but who will help them know that they are on the wrong path is you and I. When we sit their parent down and help them to see some of these things, is Malian, is that's the word. Malian, I know they use bells. Malian, I know they do this one. Malian, I know they do that one. The question is, the next set of parents that you are going to have in your school, they are going to be Malians. Their children, they are currently in some of our schools. They come to drop off their children in the morning, and you are asking a question: how is this person a parent? How is this person managing to become a parent? How is this person? You see some of them, I have to caution one that when you are coming to pick your child, kindly wear something better. And the other one was even a man. He does not ever use belts. His boxers is always showing, and everything is always. He will just be dragging, and you could smell the stench of smoke as he's coming to pick the child. If we were in the overseas, you could call the cops on that kind of person. We have to start educating him that, sir, beyond you being the father to this child, you are also modeling, because as it stands, you are not just coming to the school community to pick your child, you are representing the entire ecosystem of the school. When you pick your child and you're going on the street and parents are looking at you, you're demarketing our brand. So all these things, a sense of identity, this is where it is. They want to belong. Every child wants to belong. They want to really, really belong. They want to belong. They want to tell the world that, and that is why the loudest, before now, I would take this class, but you would not find me having my faces on social media. You would not find me. Now I'm very much interested in having my items everywhere, because a particular international leadership series told us that the reason why the bad guys still keep getting away with the things that they are doing is because we, the good people, we kept quiet about the things that we know. We are not making noise about it enough. I was like, God. He said it was Wale Adenuga of WAP production. I was in a room with him for a certain leadership series, and he said, do you notice that people don't really know him by face? Because in their time too, they were just more into, he told us he started off with comic writing and all of those things, and then people begin to buy the newspaper, or the part of the newspaper where he draws all those comic, and they don't really know who writes these things, and then and things continue to go on and on and on, and things became better. And he said, the bad guys are getting away, because we know the right things, we are not teaching it enough, and we are not letting the world know the right thing to do. So a Malian guy could be on Facebook dancing every day, but we won't find a professor come to Facebook to come and tell us all that they did in their research. They would not come and tell. They will not tell us the series. They will not tell us the good things that education will do for these children until now, in the time of Facebook. Everybody is looking for a sense of identity, craft out in it, and thank God for churches and every other organization that are now. In fact, when I saw another post of the police has a social media room, or social, I don't know the body, that they go to schools now, they have symposium, they have different meetings with different parents in different community, gathering children and teaching them about the abuse of drugs and all of those things. All of this learning put together, you will see that eventually, as the bad people are making up their noise, the good people too are making up their noise. She said they told them that they are good content creators that are Christian based, and I said yes. They are good people. I'm not teaching. If you're of different faith here, my apologies. What I'm saying basically is I'm just sharing my own experience. So there are good people in other religions that they could also follow. They understand? So much that they don't have to do the Malian thing. So much because remember, a child should be able to live in harmony with themselves, their immediate and their global community. That is a goal. So someone came back to say that, well, these people, after all, they are still making money. Yes, they could make the money, but money without virtue is going to lead us back to the same problem. We are going to have to deal with them when we are old. They will stress us when we are old. We will not believe it. Because currently now, the adult of this time is still being nurtured by the parents that refuse to raise them well. In the parents of the 1980s that did a bad job on their children, they are currently reaping the fruit of the bad children that they raised now. You know why? Those people are in husbands' house, they are in wives' house, they are being bad husbands, they are being bad wives, they are being bad colleagues, they are being, eventually they come back home and these people have to deal with them because at every point in time in their life, they are either at the police station trying to bail a bad child or they are in somebody's house trying to solve problems and so on and so forth. See, that old age that every one of us want to enjoy, if we do not start projecting these good virtues into the air, we are going to reap it because they are not going to allow us rest. And that's why we are doing this. When you know about it, you go into the schools and teach it. When you teach it, the parents know. They raise their children well and begin to have more harvest of good children. You're raising your own child well and another person is badly raising a bad child and they are going to meet as couple and they are going to get married. How do you think they are going to survive in marriage? It's going to stress every one of us. So it's not just about me keeping mine, it's about everyone doing their job. Let's move on because I'm getting really personal with this. Anyway, let's go on. So the whole idea of this child development theory is so that every one of us can do our part. And I keep doing this. If we do it well, that child, instead of having inferiority complex, that child, instead of being in a state of confusion, remember, it's a state of identity versus confusion. Identity versus confusion. So this child is asking the question, am I good enough for the community? Are people okay? Are they comfortable with seeing me? Are they, then the chances that people are going like this, it goes like this, it comes that there is confusion. Let's help the children not to be confused, and that's why we are leading them well. Remember the stages. If you miss out on it, we are going to come back to finishing with it, and we are not going to be able to deal with the results if we are not careful enough. Let's quickly go on. So you see the teenagers here, they want to explore their independence, they want to make their decisions. You have to be firm. It's not, don't be a permissive parent and eventually you're going to have a lot to do with, I'm sorry. Now, still, do not take away their sense of choice. Sincerely speaking, I asked my child, I said, do you want to go for this program? And she said, and at some point I said, okay, if you are not giving me a yes, I would not be able to pay. Do you understand? Not because we don't want to. By the time, okay, they said, she said it's because in the new space and all of this. Eventually, she made up her mind because I don't want to pay for that thing and push her, even though I know it's good for her. Now, there are some points if I think that it is very, very good because, of course, she had other options. I wanted that she had options and I wanted her to choose. She went for 2 camps within a week and she was exhausted. But it was a good thing for her because she made her choices and we're glad she attended both. Because the other one too was for her friends and they were able to teach them this thing. See, we're not saying that be an autocrat. Anything I say, you are the lion in the tribe, and these are the things that we're teaching parents in the school. Don't be that one child that you say it is only this one that you are going for. If you do not go for this one, you are not coming on and blah 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 blah. And the child is looking at you like, if they have a way and they're in the school, they will sneak out on you and they will go and there's nothing that will happen. Let's be mindful. I want to make sure that I finish this class by 10 and I'm going to try. So a few things. Identity versus confusion. They're asking the question, one major question, who am I? The basic virtue we're trying to drive in this stage is a virtue called fidelity. And what is the important event that will happen? Social events, social relationship. I want to belong versus I want to be confused. I want to identify with a set of children and I want to say there are cliques, there are class, there are this. Create your own. Create your own. Teach children to have a self a sense of self-worth in themselves so much that they will not be swayed. It's not easy to stand alone, but it's okay to stand alone if they needed to stand alone for the good thing. Let's move on to the next one. The next one, you can see the way a child is growing. A child that is already guilt-tripped will go into a stage of what? Confusion. A child that is well raised will have a good sense of identity and they will maintain their stance without losing who they are. So the next stage that we're looking at is the stage number 6, intimacy versus isolation. So this class, when I take it, I used to sound like a marriage counselor, but then it will help you to see what we are doing in the life of the children that will lead them to becoming either somebody that can keep up with intimacy necessarily in marriage, intimacy necessarily positive relationship at work, teamwork, people that could work with colleagues well, versus isolation. I just want to keep to myself. I just want to keep to myself. It's a lie. It's because you have bad character. Sometimes it's because you have bad characters. Now, I don't have a lot of friends and I don't even have a lot of friends. But then, I like to socialize you. I like to make sure that once I see you, I'm able to connect with you. If especially when you are giving me the vibes that I want. We'll say that isolation, how long can we keep up doing things all by ourselves? We are interdependent. Let children know that we are interdependent. We do not do life on our own. So here, what are we trying to say? The basic takeaway in this series is that intimacy is more than sex. It involves closeness, honesty, and love in relationship. What kind of relationship? Relationship at work, relationship in the church, relationship in the I keep saying church, relationship in the anywhere in the society, relating with people. Now you may be honestly in good relation with people without being their close friends. Do you know? Like hi, how are you? Hi, and you support them. You become a friend to them. They do things, but they are not your intimate friends. Do you understand? So what we're saying is, so that people can be able to live in harmony with their immediate and their global community, we're saying that, see, check out, you must be able to know how to relate with people. It is not a deal. It is a real deal. Now, a child that is loved, a child that is shown so much love, a child that has been trusted, a child that has good initiative, a child that is not guilt-tripped, we have good words, a sense of intimacy. Now, intimacy here is not sex, so it's not all of these things, you understand. It's being able to build good and long-lasting relationship. If you're struggling with forming healthy, intimate relationship, see, let that parent or let that child know that they should trace it back. What are the experiences that this person may have had in time past that may have influenced who they choose to be? What are the experiences? Are there bad experiences that has made them? Because some of us come from that. That was why I started off with the class. That some of us came from a place of, oh, this is because a friend did me like this, an experience that I say once beaten, twice shy. You don't want to go to, and really nobody can blame you. But that should not now mark, the reason why you will not be able to relate with any other person again in life. You understand what we're saying? So, intimacy versus isolation is the sixth stage, and this would usually span from the stage of adulthood, that is 19 to 40 years. You see, during this phase, individuals focus more on forming intimate relationship, including, of course, romantic and platonic bonds. And successfully navigating this stage fosters emotional well-being through supportive social networks, while struggles may lead to loneliness and isolation. See, anybody that's finding it difficult to manage whatever that goes on in this time, they will now go to the next stage where they will have to struggle more, because when you are now above a certain age, finding people to now come and accept some terms and conditions around your life will be twice as hard. That's what we're saying. And we're saying that when you raise children well with so much love, in the school you're raising them with so much love, in the house they know that, hey, wait, excuse me. Sorry. So you're raising them well. They will be able to successfully manage teams. They can work. See, remember the definition that they're able to live in harmony with themselves, their immediate and their global community. Let me tell you, a child that does not have inferiority complex will not find it difficult to work as a team with someone. You do not think that if you know that it is a win for all, it is not a win that just me, myself, and I. This is different from when somebody in a team is trying to, or maybe somebody is married to a bad spouse and they are just trying to make life difficult for the person. These are different things. See, I don't want to go into some of this detail because really, if we will look at it on both sides. Like the reason why people stay alone and decide to have their peace is because at times peace is actually peaceful. Loneliness is actually peaceful than you staying in the midst of a relationship that is chaotic and the noise is just deafening. These are different things. But then, relating to people at work, relating to people in the community, these are real life skills that every child that is nurtured well should grow up to becoming an adult that can function. A functioning adult, an adult that will not stress the entire society, and society will not now be able to deal with the person. So basically, successfully navigating this stage is saying that we are able to now raise well nurtured adult. Now let me ask you. Now I talked about a little version of narcissism. See, one of the things that narcissistic people fear the most is the fear of being alone. They hate it that they have to do life by themselves. I'm sorry, but I'm still doing the recording though. I have to record directly, so this one will still be posted live. So if you want to exit the call, you may still go ahead and so that you can always catch up on YouTube with this, because I have to do two things now, doing it on WhatsApp and recording live on YouTube, so that I don't want to hear somebody did not see. So you may exit if you are, because I really want to finish it. I cannot split this series. Do you understand? So what we're saying is that one of the biggest things that narcissistic people always find difficult to deal with is the fear of being alone. Now, as much as they fear that they will threaten people in their lives with the fact that, do you think I can't survive without you? That's what. But then the truth of the matter is that eventually, when you look at them, you just see them. Let me not jump the gun. Let's just go into the next one. So, the fear, because somebody that struggles with inferiority complex, that's what I'm saying, that inferiority complex comes with a version of narcissism. Because you're maxing your incapabilities, and you are maxing it, because when inferiority complex comes in, people want to outdo others. They want to do some things, they want to do something like, and you're like, why is this necessary? Why do you have to tell everybody that you're the one that got that things done? And like, well, it's because I just want them to know. No, it's not because you want them to know, it's because you're trying to prove a point. And what point are you trying to prove? We are trying to find out too. So basically, our work as practitioners is for us to be able to teach children, to be able to groom them so much that they go into relationship with confidence. Now, it's not like everybody will go in with relationship with so much love, but at least if you go in with so much confidence that you are not inferior to yourself, you are true to yourself, you allow the others, like, oh, everybody can win. You're comfortable with everybody winning. Can you see? You're comfortable with everybody shining. You're comfortable with everybody getting the accolades. You're not trying to tear the next person down. I think that we are good to go in the surface of this world. I just think that we are good to go, and that's just it. So in this stage of intimacy versus isolation, what are the key thing? The key thing is that, will I be loved or will I be alone? That's a major question. Please help me mute your mic, I beg you. The next the item here is now love, and that is why we begin to bring good relationship to the school. We begin to see people, colleagues begin to become emotional support to one another. You see, we have to make sure that we are also creating an enabling environment in the school system, in the workplace system, so much that people now begin to find it interesting to come to work. Imagine there is toxicity at home and there's still toxicity in the place of work. Then the environment is also toxic. How are we going to survive? So the idea is, when there is an environment, an enabling environment for all, people will be able to thrive on love, because it is through love that there is a sense of self-worth is even expressed the most. So Erik Erikson is saying that this question is, will I be loved or will I be alone? They're asking that questions. Will I be loved? Will I be a good person? Will I be able to function in the best of my capabilities? If I'm finding it difficult, what can somebody come into the picture to help me? And now this is where counseling comes in. Do not do life alone. Don't say that, no, those things they say, is my husband and myself. All these very noble counsel, they say, no third party. No third party. Yes, we agree, no third party. But if you need a third party, you gotta bring in a third party, because at times both of you cannot see clearly. You understand? It is not now. You just need to choose a good third party. So if you have a religious leaders, or people in your circle that you know that they are good enough, they have worked the parts that you're trying to work in, allow them to come in, allow them to come and support you, because really no third party is the reason why some people are remaining in bad marriages, is the reason why some people have left good marriages also, because they feel that let me just go, without knowing that they could just probably have worked things out and they would have still been fine nevertheless. So it's a win-win approach for all. Let's move on. If I take on to the content of the entire content of this session, and you would think that is a seminar that we are having. Okay, it's a marriage seminar that we're having. So let's move on to the next one, because I don't want us to go. So now, when somebody now goes on into from a place of intimacy versus isolation to the place of the next stage, which is generativity versus stagnation. Remember, intimacy versus isolation, meaning that a child that was well groomed, that loved, that did everything, they will have intimacy. Now, let me correct a stance. The fact that a child is well loved does not mean that they will not end up in bad marriages and they need to come back home. I think I want to state that. So, but the question is, where is the intimacy? Now, we are not tying intimacy to marriage this time. We are saying that wherever this person finds love, let them go there. Do you understand what we are saying? So, we're not saying that intimacy must be that. They just feel like a sense of being loved and being accepted is what intimacy means in this context. Yes, because if everybody is dodging you in the place of work, we have a problem. Everybody is dodging you at work. Everybody is dodging you in the community. Everybody is dodging. Say, this woman, fire for fire. She's already coming. Everybody is disappearing. You can see that there is problem, right? There is really, really problem. That is what we're saying. We're saying that it doesn't have to do with relationship with two people. We're saying that don't isolate yourself. You see people, they will go into depression. Why did they go into depression? They say in their mind that people cannot understand them. So they stay back at home wallowing in their pain, and they begin to go on and on into their pain so much that the pain now eats so badly into their well-being. And that is what we're saying. But then if this person can come to the place of work and people gather around them, they give them support, do you think the person will go or lose their lives into depression? No. That's what we're saying. Intimacy versus isolation. Now, this generativity versus stagnation is now the next stage, which is the stage 7. This begins from 40 to 65. Intimacy versus isolation is from 18 to 40, whereas this 7th stage is from 40 to, I think it's 65, right? So this stage is the stage where Erik Erikson is saying that this is happening in middle adulthood. You're already an adult. You've achieved, you've been productive, you've seen life. See, generativity is about making a mark in your world. By caring for others and being productive, you have experienced intimacy beyond your significant other. You are now sharing that intimacy with the world. You are saying that now I am in the class, I am creating a family of a connection. That is why I need to know your name. I need to say that, what a faith. I need to say Elizabeth. I need to say Daniel Rita. I need to say Madam Ngozi Okoyemi Ariyo. I need to say Mr. Richie. Our new friend that just joined today. This is how we learn. And I need to call all of your name. Mercified. I need to call you. Who is saying on hold? Am I the one that put myself on hold? Okay, we could say Lady Goodness. We could call some of our friends, Kafila Aziz. We could call our names. We could say Madam Elizabeth. We could connect one another so much. You are looking forward to coming to learn, because we don't want you to think that there is only love in the place you find intimacy. We are seeing that there is love even where you are learning. There is love in the places that. Mrs. Aderibibe, could you help me mute your mic, please? There is love that is why as an individual you cannot do. That is why a sense of association, now you now begin to stay in association of something old school students. You see now, good ladies club, something. It is a sense of association. That is where generativity is coming in. You're spreading the love. You're saying that a sense of accomplishment. I have come, I have seen, I have conquered, I have loved, and I want to let the world know the most about me. I am not keeping the virtue that I have in myself, and I'm going to open my mouth and let people know the things that I know also. I'm not being selfish with it anymore. And I think they are correct, because really, by the time you approach the age of 40, you begin to see that you are not carrying any knowledge anywhere. You want to let the world know so much about the things you know that you begin to share it. You want to see people begin to give the best of themselves. They want the community to know that they are voiced. Some people will still be quiet, but in their place of work, they are giving their best foot. Some people are not saying anything, but their work is evidently working for them. But then, versus stagnation. Stagnation is like, this is where I am. Stagnation leads to a sense of self-absorption and a sense of disconnection from the society. This person begins to just wallow in themselves. They just say like, let's just keep living. Nothing excites them, because they've come from a place of not trusting to a place of being shamed, to a place of having doubt and guilt, to a place of being lonely, to a place of stagnation, to a place of having low self-esteem, inferiority complex, to now a stage of stagnation. They're asking a question. I think I've just lived this world and I'm just good enough, and because of that, let me just keep to myself. Let me just hide my lamp. Let me just hide my face, so that everybody around me will not be able to tell if I am the one that is in the picture. Let them not catch up with me. Let them not see that this is what I am doing. Let them not see my errors. See, at some point, it's okay for people to know your story. That's why you need to share. At some point, it's okay. It's okay. See, I just feel that we should just normalize some things that we have hold up high. People don't know. Nobody know anything about you. It's fine. We agree. But how about if you tell a young chap about the mistakes that you also made, so that they can learn and they will not fall into that mistake? If you're able to do that, you are in a stage of generativity. You're telling yourself that it's okay for me to lead, for me to tell them I made mistakes in business. If I have a better idea, I would not have made some mistakes. I think I shared it with you at the beginning that if I had my way, I would not have started my school where I started it. But then I needed to start nevertheless. Were we in business? Fine, we were in business. Educrest was fine. But did we have to start a school? Yes. And when we started the school, we started in a waterlogged environment. For the umpteenth time that I have the opportunity to speak with anybody, I will always discourage them, pick your location well. Now, if I had not started then, would I have started now? Maybe no. I would not have started, because I would have dodged it like a bullet. But did I like the fact that I start? Yes. Did it take me 5 years back into my career? Yes. Am I willing to start up again with my career? Yes. Let's let people know the mistakes that we made. I tell it may not be mistakes, it may just be lessons that some things have taught you. Let people know, because you're standing on and you're sharing your generativity. Else you'll be stagnated. You're keeping to yourself. Nobody knows about you. All the sorrows, all the pain, all the mistakes is shut down into your bowel, and the person is going. Now, how does this apply to you? All this information we are sharing in this class is for you to see how, if you manage that child well, you are building in the child something that shoots into the future. So when you shame that child, you could lead that child into stagnation. And the child will say that it's because of you they could not achieve their life. Yes, even though some people will still blame people for their failures, nevertheless, they never acknowledge that it is their own error. But at least try your best to just play a good part in their life and leave them with the rest. That's what we're saying. Now, and finally, because we need to close, time is gone. Time is really gone. This is 10 o'clock. So I have just one more theory. Let me just take it through. So what is the question that Generativity is saying, how can I contribute to the world? How can I contribute to the world? And I think that really anybody that has gotten to the age of 40, they're asking a question: who do people know me as? What can people call me? Sometimes some of us get to some spaces and we just want to be quiet. It's fine. It's fine. I do that a lot, especially I just like, I just want to stay very, very quiet in some places because I just want to understand my part first before I start talking. But what is major is that it's okay for you to stay. You know when to pause and when to shine. But the truth of the matter, you're in a stage where you're saying that, what do people call you? There is nothing like I don't care what people talk about me. No, you have to care, because you are not living your life for yourself. That's what we're saying. You have to care. You have to care. You have to be bothered that people are seeing you in a way. If they are seeing you in another light that is different from the light that you want them to see, find a way to correct that impression about yourself. And that is why this time you set your camera and you talk your own talk. Let people know your truth also. There's nothing like leave it for God to fight. Yes, there are some battles that God will fight, but there are some that you need to just clear the air. Don't let something slide and you just allow somebody carrying and smear campaign about you and you choose not to talk. No, it's okay for you to say your own side of the story, because when you say your own side of the story, people will now see from a perspective. This time, in essence, the question you are asking, or the question that the child would ask, that child that you're raising now, that you're being careless with, the question that child will ask when they get to this stage is that, how can I contribute to the world? And they are depending on you to show them how. It's not then that you're showing them. The foundation that you have laid in their lives is what will determine the kind of future they will live. And then important things that will happen is parenting and so on and so on. I don't want to go on into this. Let's go on. So the last one, which is the number 8. Wow. Number 8 says integrity versus despair. Integrity versus despair. This is from 65 to death. So what do people say integrity versus despair would be? This stage is where you now ask. Integrity here is not about honesty or this thing alone. It's about asking yourself a few questions. How have I lived my life? And I saw my landlord, he was pacing through the back of the door because our flat is like, they are in another compound, but then we used to see through because of the way they designed the building. And I was just his maid, his little child that he is guiding, because they are a couple, they are older, they are children, and so they have a child that they are. Do you know that child is in my own school? The child is attending a private school, and they are paying good money everything for the child to be in my school. So the child usually comes to my apartment to play with my children, and I said, so I saw Grandpa pacing up and down at the back, and I was telling them, I said, so you people mean that the way I'm very energetic now, at some point I'll be very calm and I'll be walking up and down the compound like that without knowing what to do again. You have done your life, you're tired. You may not even be tired, but the body will tell you that I ain't doing anything anymore. And the only thing is for you to walk to the north and the south of your compound, sit down, wake up, exercise, walk with the dog, and the only thing is waiting for the owner of the life to come and call it. Isn't that a good way to end one's life? When you have done a good job and you are well rested, that I have made my mark in this world and people can remember me for something. So when we come from a place of awe, the second one says the despair is asking a question. Who do people say I am? How have I? What are the things I could have done differently? Because integrity versus despair are two opposing outcomes. They represent different ways an individual might view their life and come to terms with their experiences. Integrity is referring to the person's ability to reflect on their life with a good sense of accomplishment and fulfillment, saying that I have done a good thing. And some of the characteristics is that they see that people accept them, they have a sense of wholeness, they lack regret, they feel at peace, they They have a good sense of success and they feel that they have lots of wisdom in them to share to others. Whereas despair, according to Erik Erikson, involves looking back on one's life with a feeling of regrets, shame, and disappointment. And characteristics of despair include bitterness, regret, ruminating over one's mistakes, feeling that life was wasted. In fact, a feeling that their lives was unproductive, and oftentimes they go into deeper depression, which will eventually lead to hopelessness. See, integrity versus despair is the end of life. During this time, people reflect back on the life that they have lived and come, in fact, the how far they have come. They ask a question, am I living is, do I have a sense of fulfillment? Have I lived a well-lived life, or I have a sense of regret and despair over a life misspent? You misspent the life. You wish you did it better. Dear Mars and Sars, we have come to the end of this series, and if I have my way, I usually would take this particular class the entirety of a week because I don't like to rush it, but the thing is, you are still going to understand what I'm saying. See, this season, this is one foundation that helps us to take, that would help you that you're on this call to take the field of early years very seriously, because you are joking with destinies if you do it wrong. You're joking with a destiny when you bully that child in your class, because what you're doing now can travel into the entirety of their being. That's what we're trying to let you know. What you're doing now, the mistakes that the things that you're taking, I think that is just a child. You just run along with the child's destiny and you think that the thing will just end there. Some children never find their track anymore. So when you beat and beat and beat and the child loses their self-confidence, they are afraid to come to the school. Then a child that is an extrovert begins to behave like an introvert. The child sees you and begins to shake. The child begins to fidget. And you're saying that you're disciplining the child. That's not the goal. That's not the goal. The goal is for you to nurture the child so well that they're able to live in harmony with themselves. They are able to, you say, remember the definition, targeted and early intervention. Do it on time so that at the end, because at this point now, who is going to help all of these old people? No one. They are in their end life. They are only going to reflect. Oh, can they still do some things, correct some mistakes? Yes. But the truth of the matter is that time is fast spent. With this viewpoint of mine, I hope I've been able to convince you and not confuse you that the Erik Erikson Psychosocial child development theory, also call it psychoanalytical child development theory, is such that spans through a lifetime, and we are depending on every single LES practitioner to do it right from the foundation with the child, so much that whatever they shoot into the child is able to keep the child on the positive part of life, so much that they will end up in integrity. They will not end up in despair. And so help us God. Amen. Thank you so much for listening to me. I am Odetunde-Israel. I'm the lead coach of Educrest LES Institute, and this is what I do for a living. I talk. But if you see me on the street, I will keep quiet. I'll be looking at you like I don't know anything. But I'm so delighted to do this, because every time I do this, it just helps me to feel a sense of purpose, because really doing this makes me know that really we are the best set of people. See, this thing that you're learning is not revealed to any other profession but us. Aren't we special? We are really, really special. So thank you for listening to me. If you need to listen to this again, it's on YouTube. So you just find it, you just pick it up and just listen, and then just listen and listen. We spent a total of 1 hour 37 minutes on this second call when I started dialing in, and I hope it's correct according to the WhatsApp call. Thank you for listening to us. If you're listening to this, log into Educrest, you can learn more. We are still gonna pick more theories as we go on by next week. I don't know if we can do class tomorrow, but then we'll keep up with it, and I'll appreciate you. Thank you so much, and God bless us. Thank you. So